The fried liver attack is a deadly opening against anyone below 1000, 1200 elo. I know this through the Lichess database. Actually, when you click through the most common moves, there will eventually be a 80% win rate for white. And I will show you a screenshot of this right here. And now I will show you how to play this attack to basically guarantee a win if you reach this position. The game starts normally with e4. Your opponent is going to respond probably, most likely in 60% of cases, with e5. And you've seen this a lot at this point probably. Just bring your knights out. Your opponent is going to do the same. And now the Italian game, bishop to c4. Your opponent has two choices here. You can either bring his bishop here, or the more common move is to play knight f6. All of these moves were the most common moves according to chess databases. And so this is the most applicable opening that you can pretty much play, because you can in this position play knight g5, threatening this fork, being protected by the bishop. What your opponent is likely to play here is d5. d5 is the best move in this position, but you are just going to take back. You are now up a pawn, and your opponent would actually have to play knight to a5, but this is such an unintuitive move. Your opponent is probably not going to play it. In fact, 70% of people are here going to play knight takes on d5, which is a mistake, because you are going to play the brilliant move. Chess.com is going to tell you this in the analysis as well. This is a brilliant move. Knight takes f7. Your opponent will take back in 90% of cases. It's also best if he takes back. And now the tactics will unfold with checks. So you want to play queen to f3 check. Think about what you would play as black here. But most people are going to play king to e8, which is a mistake. What you want to do here is then you want to take the knight, having developed this mating threat. And guess what most people will play here? Most people will play here knight to d4, allowing you to instantly checkmate on f7. And these were the most common moves. So you can see just how powerful and just how dangerous this opening really is. By the way, at the end we are going to look at a counterattack, so that when your opponent does this exact same thing against you, you will see how to use their own medicine against them. So 1/3 of people are going to fall for this and attack your queen. And the second most common move is going to be that they take your bishop, and they've just gifted you a queen. So you will probably want to take the free queen. At this point you're up 7 points in material, because you're up a queen and a pawn and down a bishop, and you should easily be able to win this game pretty much a queen up. Other people are going to play queen to e7 in order to protect against this mate, which appears to be a reasonable move at first to block the checkmate, but you will just take the knight on c6. The reasoning behind this move is not that you trade down material, but it is that after he takes back, which 82% of people are going to play, you take back once again, and your opponent will probably play something like bishop to d2, and you just take the free rook. Again, being up 7 points in material, so you are going to win this game as well. By the way, this was the second most common move, so you can really see how deadly this attack is in practice. Now there is a small chance that your opponent is going to play the correct move, queen to f6. Don't you worry about it, because at this point you're still leading 2 points according to the engine, and you're still a pawn up. Key mistake that your opponent made, taking the pawn back, and then a few moves after taking, the king taking back, queen f3, and going here, your opponent has already lost the game no matter the variation. And these were the most common moves. So let's go back. Assuming your opponent plays the correct queen f6, which is the best but still losing move, you're going to take with the bishop. They will take back, and you will want to check them on h5. This is the top engine move. Their by far most likely response is going to be g6, and now you want to play queen to e2. So you've centralized your queen, and you have just damaged the pawn structure around the king, meaning that the king is very unsafe. You're going to castle and just develop normally, bringing your pieces out, bring your other rook in, your pawn up, and you have a protected and solid king side where your king is castled and protected by the pawns. And at this point you should win this game. But don't click away yet, because we need to look at the other variations in this situation. Because your opponent may also play the very interesting king to g8. At this point, you've achieved mate in 3. You can checkmate him, and there's literally nothing that he can do about it. Write down in the comments right now what you think the checkmate is. I will tell you it now as well. You want to take with your queen because you have swag. Your opponent has no other choice because the king has no squares that it can go to other than to play either this move, and you would take with checkmate. Once again, the king has no square to go, or take with the queen, which is when you will take back with your bishop. Your opponent has to play this move and you take back once again. And believe it or not, I've seen this position quite a lot of times. But when you are on chess.com and you are playing these games, you're going to reach this position a few of the times and you will have a forced checkmate right off the opening, which is interesting as well. Going back to this position, this was a critical moment for black. Black was already in a lot of trouble. Basically anywhere where black would go, it would only make it worse. Black has to defend this knight twice because it is attacked twice. As I've told you, most people overlook this, but around 1/5 of people are going to play the correct king to e6, meaning they bring their king out, but you have their knight pinned to the king and your queen out. This is obviously very dangerous for black, and what you want to do at this point is you want to continue adding pressure to the pinned piece, play knight to c3. And this is where it gets interesting once again, because your opponent will most likely play knight to d4. By far most cases, which is the wrong move, because you're going to take with check. Your opponent cannot take back with the queen because you would take their queen once again, and some people will do this mistake, around 1/4 of people, which honestly is crazy. So your opponent will retreat most likely to d6, where you want to play queen to d1, protecting against this scratch, and with the king wide open, just castling, developing normally and winning the game. But once again, everyone, your opponent may blunder with king to e7, which is a mate. See for yourself if you can spot it. With queen to f7, the enemy king can only move to d6. You can checkmate the opponent, not with any of these moves, but with knight to e4, like this, occupying all of the squares while the king is in check. Congratulations, you have won this game. As I've told you in the beginning, if someone plays this against you, there's a key attack in order to basically, dare I say, embarrass your opponent, because they were the one going with the deadly tactic, and now you come with an even deadlier counterattack, which is that after you play this move, they may choose to play bishop to c5, pointing right at the weak f2 pawn. What you want to do here as white is you don't want to take necessarily like this, because this will open black to play bishop takes f2, sacrificing the bishop, and if you take back, they will take with the knight with check. And now you have to be careful, because if you play king to e1, they will bring the queen in with queen h4, and you're pretty much screwed. For example, king f1 would be checkmate in 1. This is the key idea. I'm not going to cover all of the variations now. There are going to be a lot of tactics also with this rook, and you're definitely winning at this point as black. On the other side, if you're white and you just played knight to g5 and your opponent hits you with this, then don't go for the knight sacrifice. Just play safe and normal chess. First take the free pawn with check. Your opponent is going to move, and now retreat your bishop to c4 and have this knight stay here in order to protect against tracks or counterattack. And you will be fine. You're actually winning in this position still, which is what we want to see, right? If you want to click through the moves through every variation at your own speed, you can do this by clicking the link in the description. It's 100% free, and you will see this article right here, and then there's this link to the leisure study, which again is free as well, and you can get started with this opening right away. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.